Hi, I'm LP,
And I'm MK.
and welcome to therapy. So, I want to talk about Botox.
Yes.
So, this was your fault, me getting Botox.
Totally my fault. I take full responsibility.
Because it freaked me out. I was very freaked out by it, by the idea of doing it. But now that we're in our mid-30s, I was starting to see like lines here. And especially for me, these lines here, like, I guess I frown a lot or I'm not happy. So like I was seeing like lines stay and it was really bothering me, and we were talking about it, and you were so kind of open and it made it sound so easy. And whereas I was like, oh my God, that feels like crazy to get Botox.
I know. Well, people, it's kind of like a taboo topic to talk about, and a lot of people aren't open about it, but I would rather be open if someone asks, like, do you get Botox or have you had anything done? I'd rather be open and not feel like I'm living this lie and like open other people's eyes to something that I think is really great. So I talk about it all the time with my friends, and I started it when I was 30 because I was like, hey, this isn't gonna get any better. Like, this is as good as it gets right now. So we need to do whatever we can to, preserve our youth. So yeah, Botox was an easy topic for us to talk about since we've both had many sessions of it. We see the same physician's assistant at a local med spa and just love her because she's like honest. She'll tell you what you need and what you don't need. It's just been really transformational for my skin and for LPs and
I mean, I think, and part of my like hesitation with it was that I was afraid of having frozen face, of it feeling like I just would stop having expression, because I'm very, like my face has a lot of expression, and when I talk, I was afraid that it would look from here up just like frozen and weird. But the physician assistant that we go to, she's great, and you can tell her, I want it to look kind of like this, or I want there to still be some definition, like when I raise my eyebrows, which is really nice. And then, and as far as like going, super easy. Like
so
fast. It doesn't, I mean, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but it doesn't hurt. And if anything, it's the couple of days afterwards that's the worst, in that like I get a little bit of bruising on my forehead sometimes, and it's a little bit sore just in general as it's kind of settling in. But now it's like a week. When did I do this? A week and a half? Been about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and it's perfect. Like, if I raise my eyebrows or like frown, I still can feel that they're moving, but there's no lines, no like 11s in between my eyebrows. And I don't know why I waited. I waited until I was 35 to do it. I should have done it when I was 30.
Okay, so we just wanted to kind of talk about like what to expect, kind of before and after, that sort of thing. And at the end, we'll show you some photos so you can kind of see our results. Obviously, every time we go is different, but you'll get an idea of kind of what you could generally expect. So we both went in for consultations to kind of meet with the physician's assistant and talk about like what we're looking for, what bothers us. Do we want like extreme results, or do we want to still have movement like LP was talking about? And then you usually come back another time for your actual procedure, but they tell you you can't take any Advil or ibuprofen or anything like that a couple days before. You shouldn't drink alcohol a few days before, because that can lead to more bruising and bleeding when you actually get the procedure done. And then do you want to talk about kind of the day of?
Yeah, so the day of, like going in, you'll like have a consult with the physician's assistant, and our girl Amanda is very nice. You can kind of tell her what you're looking for, what you want to avoid, where exactly, because you can do it, under your eyes or just here or on your forehead. So kind of make sure that you guys are on the same page. And then you can, I know you can get totally numb if you want, or they ice it. I've only ever iced it. I don't know that You really need more than that, but you'll kind of ice the area for a bit till it gets numb, and then you get kind of little pinches as they inject.
Yeah, just like little bee stings.
Yeah.
It doesn't really hurt. And
no.
I prefer the ice because then your face isn't all numb for hours after.
Yeah.
And it also helps constrict the blood vessels to help reduce bruising. But it's just like quick little pinches in a couple places, and then it's done before you know it. And you're out of there in like 15 minutes. It's literally so fast.
Yeah. The last time I went, I think I was in and out in 12 minutes. It was great.
Oh my gosh.
I was so happy.
Yeah, and then they just tell you afterwards, you know, you can't usually work out for the rest of the day. They don't want you laying down for like 4 to 6 hours afterwards because the Botox can kind of move around your face or transfer it into an area you don't want it. And I usually don't drink that same night just to, you know, let things heal best as possible. And then the next day, sometimes there's some bruising or a little swollen or sore, but nothing too terrible and nothing like a little makeup can't cover.
Nothing that I don't think anybody else would notice. I notice it, and you know, and they're not it's not like huge bruises, but like little, you know, little spots that maybe bled a little bit more, and you have like just a little bit of purple, but a little concealer and you're totally fine.
And it's different every time.
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes I don't bruise.
Yeah, and then it takes about, the first time I did it, I was so glad that you and I were talking about it first, because it took probably about a week for me to actually see the difference. So for the first couple of days, you don't see any different, like you can, you know, raise your eyebrows or frown and it's the exact same, but after about a week is when you start to see the full results.
Yeah, and the results last like 3 to 4 months, so it's kind of like good both ways because it lasts a pretty long time, but also if you don't like it, it'll wear off in 3 or 4 months. So you can just deal with being dead inside and having no expression. No. But, you know, it's kind of like reassuring that
it's not permanent.
Yeah, it's not, and it doesn't last as long as filler, even though they can dissolve filler. It's, you know, that's usually, it stays for like a year or longer. So Botox is like a good baby step into the world of aesthetics.
Yeah, totally. And I think, again, it was more intimidating, I think, the stigma of it than the actual doing, because there is kind of a weird stigma with getting Botox, but then once you do it and you realize that it's really not that big of a deal, like both in the procedure itself, but also in the kind of impermanence of it. I know that that's a little bit of a two-sided coin, but it's if it's something that you're interested in, you don't have to marry the idea forever. It's really an easy thing to try and see if you like it. And for us, at least, it's made a huge difference. I'm very into it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that like other people may not notice, but if you know, you have lines between your eyes, or like I have a horizontal line on my forehead that I've had forever, and that's like the thing that I stare at in the mirror, you know, like all the time. It's something that like you'll appreciate, but other people won't be like, oh, you had work done or whatever. You know, it's just like so subtle, but enough to like make your skincare work better and your makeup go on smoother. And it just really makes a difference to where like when it wears off, I'm like right back in the office.
You start to notice little by little, like the lines coming back. You're like, oh, I better go back. It's time. So obviously we're not doctors. This is just our opinion, and we wanted to share our experience. So we hope it was helpful.
Yeah, hopefully it was informative and answered some of your questions or eased some of your worries a little bit. But feel free to ask questions below and we'll answer, you know, based on our experience. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.